Every day, people in a certain neighborhood couldn't ignore something extraordinary. A homeless man, Diego, was always surrounded by stray dogs. The sight piqued curiosity, and one day, a young woman approached him to ask why the dogs were so drawn to him. Diego's answer left everyone stunned. Diego, a man in his early 40s, hadn't always been homeless. Life had once been full of promise. Despite not completing college, Diego was determined to pursue his dreams. He started his own business, pouring his passion and energy into making it a success. For a time, it flourished and Diego felt fulfilled. But then tragedy struck. The business faltered, and despite his best efforts, it ultimately failed. Left without a source of income, Diego struggled to make ends meet. Slowly, he lost everything, and with no safety net, he found himself homeless, surviving by begging on the streets. Even in these dire circumstances, Diego stood out from others in similar situations. He wasn't bitter or downtrodden. Instead, he remained cheerful, greeting passersby with a warm smile and a wave. He expressed genuine gratitude for every small kindness, remembering those who helped him and thanking them again whenever he saw them. Diego's positive attitude endeared him to the community, and many began offering him food or money more often than they might have otherwise. However, Diego became best known for his unique companions, stray dogs. It started with one scruffy dog that began following him around, seeking warmth and care. Diego, unable to ignore the animal's plight, shared his food and offered it a space in his blanket. This small act of kindness blossomed into a deep bond. Soon, other stray dogs joined them, forming a loyal pack that stuck by Diego's side. When the woman asked Diego why so many dogs flocked to him, he responded with simple humility. "I take care of them," he explained. "They're just like me, forgotten, unwanted, and trying to survive. I share what little I have, whether it's food or a place to rest." Despite his own struggles, Diego's actions spoke volumes. He prioritized the well-being of the dogs, often feeding them before eating himself. He saved scraps of food for them, ensured they had water, and on cold nights, shared his tattered blankets to keep them warm. In return, the dogs remained loyal, always by his side, forming a protective circle around him. As the neighborhood took notice of Diego's compassion, many were inspired to help. Residents started bringing food and supplies, not just for Diego, but for the dogs as well. A few even offered to help find homes for some of the strays, though most of the dogs refused to leave Diego's side, their loyalty to him unshakable. Word of Diego's bond with the dogs spread far beyond the neighborhood. His story went viral, touching the hearts of people worldwide. They were moved by the selflessness of a man who, despite having so little, gave so much to animals in need. Diego's actions reminded everyone that kindness and compassion can thrive even in the toughest of circumstances. Diego's story eventually reached a local animal rescue organization, which decided to step in. The group provided medical care for the dogs, ensuring they were vaccinated and healthy. They also offered Diego temporary shelter, where he could stay with his loyal pack. For the first time in years, Diego had a roof over his head, and with it, a chance to rebuild his life. The experience gave Diego a renewed sense of purpose. With the rescue organization's support and the community's encouragement, he began volunteering to care for other stray animals. Drawing from the skills and compassion he had developed during his time on the streets, Diego became a symbol of resilience and kindness. His bond with the dogs inspired others to look out for those in need, whether human or animal. Diego's journey serves as a powerful reminder of how small acts of kindness can create ripples of hope and change. His pack of dogs, once stray and forgotten, found a family in Diego, just as he found belonging in their unwavering loyalty. Together, they showed the world that love and compassion can flourish in even the most unexpected places. Diego's story continues to inspire, proving that no matter how difficult life gets, there is always room for kindness. When people first saw Diego with a dog by his side, they assumed the animal must have been his longtime companion following him out of loyalty. But that wasn't the case. Diego didn't meet the dog, later named Camden, until he began begging on the streets. On Diego's first day as a beggar, he sat eating a simple lunch when he noticed a stray dog cautiously sniffing around for food. The sight tugged at Diego's heart. Moved by the animal's hunger, he offered a portion of his meal, careful not to scare it away. Camden, hesitant at first, kept his distance, unsure whether to trust the man. But Diego's persistent kindness eventually won him over. Within days, Camden grew comfortable and began visiting Diego daily, wagging his tail in excitement each time he saw his new friend. Diego, in turn, showered Camden with love, often wrapping him in a blanket like a baby. Their tender bond quickly became a heartwarming sight that made Diego recognizable to everyone in the neighborhood. As months passed, Diego realized that despite his circumstances, he could still make a meaningful difference. While he lacked the means to help other people, he saw an opportunity to care for stray animals. Day after day, as he sat on the same street corner, Diego noticed other stray dogs wandering aimlessly, searching for scraps of food. His compassionate nature drove him to extend his care beyond Camden. Diego began sharing his food with any stray dog that crossed his path. On days when food was scarce, he used what little money he earned from begging to buy food for the animals. Slowly, his small act of kindness grew into something much bigger. 3 additional dogs joined Camden under Diego's care, forming a loyal pack. Diego treated them all equally, regardless of their size, appearance, or temperament. Each dog received his undivided love and attention, and in return, the dogs showed him unshakable loyalty. They would sit or nap beside him as he begged, creating a heartwarming scene that became a regular feature in the neighborhood. Although Diego initially believed 4 dogs would be his limit due to financial constraints, his passion for helping strays refused to let him stop there. Each time he encountered another hungry or abandoned dog, he couldn't turn it away. Word seemed to spread among the stray dogs in the area. Diego had become a beacon of safety and kindness, one who would welcome them with open arms. Gradually, more and more dogs began to seek him out, drawn by his unwavering care. Diego's growing pack of loyal companions became a symbol of his resilience and compassion. Despite his struggles, he had found a way to make a difference, proving that kindness can flourish even in the toughest circumstances. In less than a year, Diego's pack of stray dogs grew to over 15. Despite his limited resources, he made sure every single one was fed and cared for. Whether they arrived one by one or as a group, wagging their tails and seeking his attention, Diego welcomed them all with open arms. The dogs, in return, expressed their gratitude by staying close to him. They circled him protectively or lay beside him while he rested, forming a loyal family bound by trust and love. Diego's growing canine family quickly drew attention from passers-by and residents alike. Many paused to watch the heartwarming sight of a man who had so little, giving everything he had to care for the animals. Some were so touched by his selflessness that they began offering him food or money specifically for the dogs. What began as a small act of kindness with one dog, Camden, had evolved into a powerful example of compassion and generosity. Through his bond with the dogs, Diego rediscovered a sense of purpose and belonging. Despite life's hardships, he realized his ability to love and care for others had not been diminished. For the dogs, Diego was not just a provider but a family. Once neglected and hungry, they found a home in him. Together, their bond inspired everyone who witnessed it, offering a moving testament to the power of kindness. Each wagging tail and loyal glance told the story of a man who turned his struggles into an opportunity to care for those even more vulnerable than himself. In the companionship of his dogs, Diego found solace and joy. No matter how little he had, he shared his meager food portions with the animals, ensuring everyone got a piece. Their presence gave him purpose and hope, driving him to vow that he would never abandon them, no matter how tough his circumstances became. Unbeknownst to Diego, his growing pack of stray dogs sparked curiosity among passersby. People couldn't help but notice the increasing number of loyal animals flocking to him. Each time someone walked by, they would turn for a second glance, puzzled by the extraordinary sight of a homeless man surrounded by so many devoted dogs. One day, as Diego sat feeding his pack, a young woman in her late 20s approached him. Diego assumed she was coming to give him money, as many kind-hearted strangers often did. But this woman had a different purpose. She had been observing Diego and the dogs for weeks and wanted to know why so many strays seemed drawn to him. When she asked, Diego was taken aback but decided to share his story. He spoke about his past, his lifelong love for animals, and his unwavering commitment to making a difference, even as a homeless beggar. He explained how he had noticed the plight of stray dogs on the streets and, despite his limited means, had made it his mission to care for them. By offering food and kindness, he had slowly drawn the animals to him, creating a connection built on trust. The woman listened closely, moved by Diego's honesty and dedication. As he shared more of his story, she learned that Diego's love for animals went far deeper than anyone had realized. Before falling on hard times, Diego had owned and operated an animal shelter. At first, it thrived, giving him immense fulfillment and purpose as he helped countless animals in need. However, when government funding was cut and donations dwindled, Diego was forced to shut it down. The closure of the shelter was a devastating blow. Though some animals found new homes, others had to be euthanized due to lack of resources. Diego blamed himself for the loss, believing he had failed the creatures who depended on him. The guilt consumed him, leading to severe depression and eventually homelessness. Yet even on the streets, Diego could not turn his back on animals in need. His love for them remained steadfast, and he continued to care for as many as he could. The woman was deeply moved by Diego's story. His resilience, compassion, and unwavering dedication to animals reminded her, and everyone who later heard his story, of the incredible impact one person can have, even in the face of adversity. Diego's journey became a beacon of hope, proving that love and kindness can thrive even in the most challenging circumstances. The closure of the animal shelter was a devastating chapter in Diego's life. While some animals found new homes, the lack of resources forced him to make the heartbreaking decision to euthanize others. The guilt weighed heavily on him. Diego felt he had failed the creatures who had depended on him for safety and care. This overwhelming guilt pushed him into deep depression, and he turned to alcohol to cope. His life spiraled downward until he lost everything, including his home, and was forced to beg on the streets. The woman who had approached Diego to learn about his bond with the dogs was deeply moved by his story. She asked if she could share it on, hoping to inspire others to help Diego and the stray animals he cared for so passionately. As fate would have it, she was an influencer with a significant following. Though hesitant at first, Diego agreed, trusting her sincerity and hoping it might make a difference for the dogs. Within days of her post, Diego's story went viral. People from around the world were touched by his compassion and resilience, despite his heartbreaking circumstances. Messages of encouragement poured in alongside financial donations. The contrast of a man with so little dedicating himself to the care of others, even stray animals, struck a chord with many. Diego's story also shed light on his past as an animal shelter owner. While some mourned his tragic fall, many admired his unwavering determination to help animals in need, no matter his circumstances. The attention Diego received not only brought critical resources to support him and the dogs, but also highlighted the broader challenges faced by stray animals and underfunded shelters. As Diego's life began to improve, he remained humble, staying focused on the dogs and his mission. Offers of support from animal welfare organizations and local authorities enabled him to expand his efforts. He was given a small space to house the dogs safely and, with the proper funding, was able to care for even more animals. Diego's story of perseverance and compassion turned him into a symbol of hope for both animals and people. Through the kindness of strangers and the loyalty of his dogs, Diego found a renewed purpose and a chance to rebuild his life. His journey from a homeless beggar to an advocate for stray animals inspired countless others. Diego became a living example of how love and kindness, even in the darkest times, can create ripples of hope and transformation. The overwhelming generosity of people around the world helped Diego take the next steps toward a better life. Financial donations and the guidance of compassionate individuals allowed him to leave the streets and begin a new chapter. He built his new life around the passion that had sustained him through his darkest days, helping animals in need. Today, Diego dedicates his life to rescuing and caring for stray animals. He feeds countless dogs every day, offering them the same love and kindness that first brought Camden into his life. His home, garden, and even his car have become sanctuaries for animals in need, filled with wagging tails and grateful hearts. Each space is a testament to his unwavering commitment. Diego's story serves as a powerful reminder of resilience and compassion. While many in his position might have focused solely on their own survival, Diego chose to share the little he had, driven by his deep love for animals. He refused to let homelessness, hunger, or financial struggles diminish his kindness or change who he was at his core. His journey proves that life's challenges cannot destroy our passions or true selves, unless we allow them to. Diego's unwavering spirit and selflessness inspire us to rise above adversity and continue making a difference, no matter the circumstances.